Welcome back. It's Mrs. Wright here. I'm going to be sharing today a story with you about farming. Now remember, we just finished our story, The Little Red Hen, and she had planted some wheat on the farm. Today we're going to talk about the seasons of farming. Now, we're going to still talk a little about Old MacDonald's farm, but we need to know our vocabulary words for today. So the first word we're going to talk about is the word drought, a period of time when there is very little or no rain. The plants have turned brown because of the drought. That means there's no rain. The next word is the word fertilizer, material that provides nutrients to soil and plants. So for an example, we put fertilizer on our garden each spring. Fertilizer. The next word is the word irrigate. That means to bring water to a place where crops are planted. Farmers often need to irrigate their crops. Irrigate. The next word is the word pesticides, chemicals that are used to kill pests. Some farmers use pesticides on their crops. The last word we're looking for today is the word pests, animals such as insects that harm crops. The flies buzzing around my head are pests. All right, today we're going to talk a little bit about the seasons of farming. We know that different things happen on the farm each season. Remember what the 4 seasons are? Spring, summer, fall, and winter. All right, fall and autumn are kind of the same. They use those words interchangeably. Remember, fall follows summer and begins in September. That's a lot of the time when we go back to school. Now, when do the flowers grow? In the spring. And when do the trees lose all their leaves? In the fall. Now, who knows what the hottest time of year is? Summer. That's right. Listen carefully to find out different things that happen on the farm during each of these seasons. There are 4 seasons in the year. Spring always follows winter. Summer always follows spring. Fall or autumn always follows summer. And after autumn comes the winter again, and the cycle begins anew. What season comes after the winter, class? Spring. A farmer's work, or the job he or she does each day, changes from season to season. He or she does certain jobs in the spring, the summer, the fall, and winter. When we talk about the way in which a farmer's job change according to the seasons, it makes sense to begin with spring. Springtime is when plants awaken from the long winter, new buds, leaves, and blossoms appear on trees, and wildflowers bloom in the fields. Springtime also marks the beginning of the crop cycle, when seeds are planted and new crops begin to grow. A farmer cannot plant if he does not prepare the ground first. Typically, this is done with a plow. This plow has long, sharp teeth that dig into the earth, shredding the dirt and plants to make room for new seeds. In order to prepare or cultivate the soil, the farmer adds a little fertilizer, just to make sure that there are plenty of nutrients for his plants. Fertilizer contains nutrients to help the plants grow well. Different plants like different kinds of fertilizer. Some fertilizers are made from chemicals, and others are made from animal manure or animal waste. This is a seed spreader. To plant large crops, most farmers use tractor-driven seed spreaders like this one. It drops the seeds into the rows that the farmer has already plowed and fertilized. As it passes, dropping seeds evenly in the rows, the seed spreader brushes a layer of soil over the seeds. This is the rain coming in. After planting, the farmer watches the weather and hopes for rain. The seeds need water in order to sprout into seedlings. In many places, spring is also a rainy season. Few things make a farmer happier than the sight of dark rain clouds overhead. Why would that make a farmer happy? So that his crops get water. These are some young crops. Eventually, the brown field will turn green as seedlings emerge from the soil. Once they have sprouted, the new plants will continue to need water. By the time spring makes way for summer, these corn plants will be about knee-high. Hopefully, they will continue to grow taller and taller throughout the hot summer. Sometimes problems arise and the plants do not grow as expected. Crops fail or die. Sometimes, no matter how hard a farmer works and no matter how much he knows about farming, drought is one of the farmer's worst enemies. A drought occurs when it does not rain for a very long time. Droughts occur most frequently during the summertime. The crop in this picture is supposed to be tall and green. Instead, because of drought, this crop is brown and wilted. If he has a good source of water nearby, the farmer can irrigate his crops. Irrigate means to bring water to a place where crops are planted. However, a long drought can cause wells and rivers to dry up. Irrigation can work well, but only if there is adequate rainfall. Unfortunately, rain isn't the only thing a farmer needs to worry about. Pests can ruin a crop as well, especially in the summer. Pests are animals such as insects that harm crops. This is a locust, which is the type of grasshopper. Locusts are famous for destroying crops by eating them. Various types of worms, beetles, flies, and other insects can also eat a farmer's crops. Fortunately, farmers have ways of protecting their crops. Sometimes farmers spray pesticides or chemicals that repel bugs and insects in order to ensure that the crops will survive and yield plenty of fruit or vegetables. A farmer can apply pesticides using the same equipment he uses to fertilize his crops. Organic farms often grow crops without chemical pesticides. For very large crops or fragile crops that could be damaged by a tractor wheel, the farmer can hire a crop duster. A crop duster is a type of airplane. The pilot swoops down out of the sky, opens his hatch, and releases the pesticides over the crops. The crop duster can spread pesticides over a large area, and the farmer doesn't have to worry about trampling his crops with tractor tires. On some farms, harvest time is the hardest time. Most crops need to be harvested at just the right time or they will spoil. Harvest time is different for different crops and runs typically from early summer through the fall season. Some crops must be harvested by hand so they are not damaged. During harvest time, farmers need all the help they can get. They often hire people to help bring in the harvest as quickly as possible. Actually, not all farmers need to plant new crops every winter. Farmers that own orchards or fruit tree farms, such as apples and peaches, only have to plant each tree one time. That may sound easier, but it also requires a lot of hard work and patience, as every orchard farmer knows. Once these apple trees are planted, the orchard owner must wait several years before they are able to produce big, red, juicy apples. After the trees are fully grown, they will follow the usual crop cycle, producing new leaves and flowers in the spring and young fruits in the summer. The apples grow all summer long until fall when it is apple picking time. After harvest time, the farmer is finally able to take a rest. You might think that winter would be the easiest season for a farmer, and compared to other seasons, it probably is. However, winter is the only time the farmer has to fix tools and machinery that is worn out or broken during the rest of the year. It is also time to plant for the next planting season, to plan for the next planting season, to buy seeds and test the soil to decide how much fertilizer he will need next year. No matter the season, there is always work to be done on the farm. All right, really quick, just a few questions, and then you'll be all done for today. What are the 4 seasons of the year? What can farmers do to protect their crops from drought? What can they do to protect their crops when it gets really hot and dry? They can irrigate them, right? And give them water. What can farmers do to protect their crops from pests and bugs? They can use a pesticide. Good. Imagine for a minute that you are a farmer. What kinds of jobs do you do each season? In the spring, you would plow, fertilize, and plant. In the summer, you would irrigate and protect your crops from drought and pests. In the fall, you would harvest. And in the winter, you can fix tools and machinery and make plans for the next year. All right, which season do you think is the most important time on the farm? Pause the video and ask somebody who's sitting next to you. Okay, time for our word work. The word we're studying today is the word pests. Pests can ruin a crop as well. Say that word with me. Pests. Pests are animals that harm plants and other animals. Pests may be large animals like deer or small animals like locusts or insects. Have you ever seen plants that have been harmed by pests? Have you ever been harmed or bothered by pests? Try to use the word pests in a sentence and don't forget to record it in your Seesaw journal. You could use a sentence like, the mosquitoes buzzing around my heads are real pests. All right, here we go. Thumbs up or thumbs down. If you think this is a pest, give a thumbs up. If you think it is not, give a thumbs down. The leaves of the tomato plant had been eaten up by bugs. Are bugs pests? Yes, thumbs up. The farmer was very upset to see that the corn plants had been completely eaten by deer during the night. Are those deer pests? They are. The apple trees have beautiful green apples. Are green apples pests? No, thumbs down. The farmer dug into the soil and found that worms had been eating his potatoes. Worms are pests, huh? The fertilizer helped the plants to be green and healthy. Great job. Thanks so much for joining me today, students. We will be back tomorrow with our last story for this unit on farms. I hope you've enjoyed learning about farms. We live all around beautiful farms. Next time you're out driving around, see if you can point out to your mom what season we're in and what's happening on that farm. Have a great day.